Hello, everyone, and welcome to Northaven Voices. This week, I am excited to be interviewing Barb Currier. Barb has been a member of Northaven for 12 years or so. I think she said she joined in 2008. I've had the opportunity to get to know Barb recently we both are in a Connect small group, but started back in March or April timeframe. And so I really didn't know Barb that well. I keep saying Barbara and Barb, but she wants to go by Barb, right? So, and it's been a pleasure to get to know Barb, and she has so much insight, and the small group is so much fun, and I always look forward to Sunday to being part of that group with Barb, and the rest of the team that's in the group. Hi, Barb, and welcome.
Hi, Bob. It's good to talk with you.
Good. Well, we're glad to have you, and thank you for taking the time to be with us this week. Like I said, I'm excited to get to know you better, and I'm hoping that this gives the opportunity for Northaven to get to know Barb a little bit more. So tell us about Barb. What's your background?
Okay. Well, I'm old, so it's a long story, but I'll spare a lot of it. As you said, I've been at Northaven since about 2008. My son graduated from high school in 2007. I was a member at another local Methodist church and had to wait till he was out of youth group before I could make the change to a church that fit me better than the one that I had been at. I have been in Dallas since 1984, so quite a long time. I'm a retired high school math teacher. Since 1984 until 2015, I taught at was the chair of the math department for a good part of the time, was math team coach, very involved with AP Calculus. I'm a real person. Before coming to Dallas, I lived in Paris, France for 6 years. Still think of Kansas City as my home, although I didn't move to Topeka, Kansas, and then Kansas City until after I graduated from high school. I'm a Hoosier, born and bred, and lived in Indianapolis my first 17 years. Okay. So kind of a quick synopsis of my life, run backwards.
So, wow, 5 years, you say 5 years in Paris, France? Or
6 years. 6 years in Paris, France.
What did you do there? You were teaching there?
Well, I was unemployed the first 2 years. I was still married at the time, and my ex-husband is a CPA, so he's with one of the big accounting firms, and so it was a transfer for him.
Okay. In
78. I walked away from a tenure track college position.
Oh, wow.
It looked like I was teaching at a small Jesuit college in Kansas City. I was very happy there. It looked like I was going to get tenure in another 4 years. And at age 28, that scared the bejeebers out of me. That would be my first and last job ever, because I figured if I got here, that's what I would do forever. So I walked away from that to have the chance to move to France. And after 2 years of being a bum, doing all the volunteering I could find to do, reading every book in the American Library of Paris, I went to the American School of Paris to interview and see if they had a spot for me, although I had not taught high school before. Fell in love with teaching high school, taught for the next 4 years, and then was really, really lucky when we moved to Dallas, when we relocated, and I knew nothing about Dallas, but I had actually been on the Green Hill campus that previous spring interviewing a person at Green Hill for a potential job in Paris. I fell in love with Green Hill and decided that's where I wanted to spend the rest of my career.
Wow.
And I was blessed enough to get to do that.
Now, I know you say you're retired, but you're really not retired.
I am doing a terrible job of retirement. Since retired, I've been doing a lot of private tutoring. I've got it down to a manageable 10 hours a week right now. A couple of years ago, I was doing 23 hours a week.
Yeah.
I am starting this Saturday teaching in a math camp program in their year-round program. I've taught in their summer school for 3 summers. I just found out this week that between now and the spring, I'm going to be doing some consulting work for ETS, Educational Testing Service, working on stuff associated with the AP Calculus exam. So no, not really retired. I'm retired from the classroom. That's about the best I can say.
You started a new chapter in your life, right?
Yeah, and actually, it's a beautiful chapter. The tutoring is at a set time, and this class I'm going to be teaching is at a set time. But a lot of the stuff that I do, oh, and I forgot to mention the hours a day I spend working on math competition problems. I'm associated with 3 different national math competitions.
Oh, my.
My own time. You know, I get up, I have my coffee, I work problems for hours, editing or writing problems or typing up my comments, and then go on with my day.
Well, as I watch you telling all this, what you do, there's so much excitement. You really love it. You just love it.
I do. I love teaching. I love working with kids. I love seeing the light bulb come on.
Oh.
I've always valued the fact that I've been able to connect with the students and figure out what they don't understand so that I can do it, rather than saying, here's how you do it. I mean, that doesn't good.
Yeah.
But I love tutoring one-on-one. I loved being in the classroom. Mm-hmm. I even love being in a Zoom classroom. It's a lot better than I thought it would after I've done that all summer long, 8 weeks this summer.
Wow.
3 hours a day on Zoom.
Yeah. Well, I will support the fact is that, I mean, that's one thing I love about being in the group with you on Sunday is that you are insightful, but you also give us you're a great teacher in getting us to think out of the box. So, I love it. That's just I look forward to it so much. So it's really fun.
Thank you very much.
So obviously teaching is your passion. What other passions do you have?
Well, I am a quintessential nerd. There is nothing more fun for me than a really good contest math problem that I can lose myself in for 4 hours.
Wow.
If I manage to finally get on the other side of it, I mean, that's exciting.
Yeah, well, that is good.
I also love the outdoors. I used to, when my son was younger, we would go camping 2 or 3 times a year. I love being in the woods, being at a lake.
Yeah.
Miss being able to do that right now.
Well, hopefully you can do it soon. It's cooling off, and so it's going to be nice to be camping for sure. We love him, and I love to camp as well. So, but I also understand you do gardening, though, right? So.
Do some gardening. I've got a little vegetable garden on the side of my house with right now a very prolific grape tomato plant and a moderately prolific Roma tomato plant and 6 eggplant plants that have tons of blossoms, but not a single eggplant. In my backyard, interspersed among various flowering plants, I have a whole bunch of herbs and enjoy using those when I'm cooking. Just run out, snip off some rosemary or basil or oregano or thyme. And
I know. I saw your Facebook posting of your pasta the other night, and I thought, oh my God, it was all homemade, wasn't it?
I had bought the pasta making attachment for my KitchenAid stand mixer, but I had never used it yet. And it was so much fun. I'm looking forward to my son and his girlfriend coming over, and we're going to have a huge pasta making party and make enough pasta for both of our households, and lasagna and spaghetti and fettuccine and angel hair and all sorts of things.
Well, I love the energy. I love the fun. It's going to be so much fun. You know, I love to cook too. So it just takes you away. It's just so much fun. So
it is. It's so rewarding.
Mm-hmm. How would you describe your spiritual journey, Barb?
Very much different than the typical Methodist spiritual journey. I grew up unchurched. Not only did we not go to church, according to my father, the church was evil. I started attending church as a middle schooler. I was rather socially awkward, and I wanted to join MYF. My parents thought that'd be a good idea. And I don't think they realized that it might lead to me finding out about God, but that was my introduction to church was through MYF. And this sort of describes how much of a no-no it was in my family. I can remember as a high school girl reading the Bible under my covers with a flashlight so I didn't get caught.
Wow. Oh, wow.
What's so bad about all this? It sounds pretty good to me.
Wow.
My journey has been one of, mostly for my adult life, probably a very pivotal experience was when I was still at Lover's Lane. I may as well say that because I'm going to say Ben Marshall was my mentor. I did Disciple 1 from Ben Marshall, and that was a pivotal moment. And then that's what actually brought me to Northaven was Ben, when I found out that he was doing, I was in his Living the Questions at Lover's Lane and found out that he was also at the same time doing the follow-up course, First Light, I think it was, at Northaven. So I double dipped for a while, even though I hadn't finished Living the Questions. I was doing one of them on Monday night at Lover's Lane and the other one on Tuesday night at Northaven. And that's when I fell in love with Northaven.
Oh, good.
That Monday night experience of Ben's class that I was in for 5 or 6 years until my tutoring schedule was such that I couldn't keep up with his Monday night class anymore. That has been really, really an instrumental part of my spiritual journey.
Yeah. Ben has been significant in my mentorship and my support at Northaven as well. I just learned so much from him. I just love listening to him and growing with him. So yeah, it's inspirational for me. So how would let me get my questions here. If I obviously off think here. So what are you most proud of?
Most proud of, I suppose my teaching career and the number of kids that I've been able to reach. Very proud of the young man that my son has turned out to be.
Oh.
Young adult now. He was 6 years old when I was divorced. And so for a long time, it was just him and me in the house. Mm-hmm. And I'm proud of the young man he's turned into.
Oh, good. Yeah. So how would you like to be remembered?
Somebody that gave her all. Mm-hmm. Never did things halfway. I'm probably too much of a perfectionist in some things. But I've always given 120% on anything that I've taken on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was watching you as you were telling the story. I think it was like going to Living the Questions and doing the follow-up and doing the double dipping, as you called. That's your energy. I mean, I think that's how you really move. It's like you want knowledge. You just kind of.
I am definitely a lifelong learner. In fact, every morning I spend probably at least 30 minutes on Duolingo trying to learn Spanish. I think it's an embarrassment that I've lived in Dallas as long as I have and I don't speak Spanish. I'm way, and I refresh my French. And for a while I was learning Greek. I worked on learning Italian before I went to Italy, and I've been watching Outlander, so I just this week added Gaelic onto my list of languages. So I'm a member of Courses Plus, currently maybe 6 different courses that hop around from one lesson to another, about 6 different courses on the great courses.
Yeah.
Love learning. I love learning. Good enough.
How has your life been different than what you expected?
I had it all figured out. After I finished graduate school, I was going to get my PhD. Then I was going to have my family. I was going to have a boy and a girl by age 30. Mm-hmm. Well, it didn't work out that way. grad school. That part went okay. And then we moved to Paris. I never thought I'd be living overseas. Kids weren't coming, and it wasn't until I was almost 38 that we were able to adopt our beautiful baby boy. So that didn't work out the way I had it planned. I never knew that I'd be living in Dallas. Never thought I would spend half of my life here. But, you know, things happen, and you roll with it, and you make the best of everything that's happened.
So what's on your bucket list that you have?
Oh, well, I've got 2 trips that I have already paid for that have been postponed a full year, 1 year and a half. Jeannie Delphinus and I are supposed to be going to Machu Picchu. We were supposed to be there this past month.
Oh.
Hoping to be able to go next August. And next March, the biggest thing on my bucket list is to see the Aurora Borealis. And in March, COVID-19 willing, I'm going to northern Manitoba to stay at a research center for a week to do a Northern Lights and astronomy tour.
Oh my gosh, are you really?
Dog sledding and snow skiing and astronomy and the Northern Lights in March in Churchill, Manitoba. It's a scholar, but just Northern Lights is like number 1 on the bucket list, and Machu Picchu is number 2.
Wow, my prayer is that you can make that happen. That it'll happen.
It was supposed to be this past March, and so now I'm aiming for this coming March. I've got to do it during spring break when my kids don't need me, when I can get away from my tutoring.
Right.
So
you've settled in Dallas. Is there another place that if you said, where would I like to retire if I was to, is there a place you would like to say, this is going to be my retirement place?
Leading up to retirement, I agonized about that. I have a very dear friend who at the time had a house outside of Asheville that she lived in half of the year. And every summer I'd go visit her, and I'd found a couple of different towns in that area that I decided I wanted to live in. At one point it was going to be in Hot Springs Village. I actually bought some land in Hot Springs Village, and I was going to retire up there. And then I got wise and started looking at those windy, hilly roads and picturing trying to maneuver those at age 85 and decided maybe that's not the best place to retire to. And then I finally decided Dallas is a wonderful hub. Are here. I've all my Green Hill friends, my Northaven friends, my son and his girlfriend are here. I can stay here and then go travel.
Well, you know,
once this is all over.
Yeah, my parents retired in Hot Springs, so
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of winding roads, and if it ever iced over coming down out of those, it's
like there's one road through the whole. I forget how long, 25 miles long or something.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's beautiful, but
it's beautiful.
That's I'm worried about my mom after my dad passed away being up there by herself because of getting around. So
yeah,
it was crazy. What are your hopes?
World peace. For this darn virus to get over. For November 3rd to go as it should.
Yes. Please.
There is so much going on in the world right now to hope for. One thing I am hopeful about, and I actually mentioned this, I think, in a Sunday school class recently, is for a long time, the voice of Christianity was the voice of the far right. And it's been only in the most recent years that I've become aware of the progressive wing of the church taking a stand and being vocal. And I find that very hopeful.
Good.
That perhaps we can have a voice in turning around the horrible situation we're in now with all the hate towards everybody towards each other, towards the other. I'm hopeful that we can make progress.
Yeah, me too. I am hopeful. I believe that we can do this. And it's like you're saying, we have to use our voice.
We have to use our voice. Yeah. We can't be silent anymore. We've got to be allies for all of the groups that need us to be allies.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to be vocal about what Christianity means to us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We've got to take the church back.
Well, Barb, I really appreciate the time, and I learned so much more about you, and I look forward to our Sunday coming up, and I think
thank you
for our intentions this time. But thank you for spending time with us, and thank you for your gift to the children and your love for working, teaching our kids, because that is such a key role. I've always had a lot of respect for teachers. But your passion for it is just you can see it, when you're in your eyes and in your smile, and you're a blessing. So we appreciate you a lot. So,
well, Bob, thank you very, very much.
All right, and you have a wonderful day. So.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.